Hi guys, this is Nate at Combat Sports Play. Today I'm here to talk to you about the Umarex Glock 17 Gen 5 MOS full blowback. This is Umarex and Elite Force's latest entry into their Glock line of pistols. This is a full blowback modular optic system MOS series, and it's pretty nice. Alright, so we just got it out of the box here. Alright, so it's pretty nice. I like the trades. It's hard to see black on black, but the trades look pretty nice. A little extended mag release, just like your Gen 5s. I really like it. So we do have a very comprehensive manual. We've been going through a little bit. It's quite nice. So right here, you can actually see kind of how comprehensive it is. It tells you exactly what you need to do to like get in to adjust the hop up. It's super neat. We've got a couple of different tools here, one of which is necessary to adjust the hop up in the gun. These are the spare O-rings for the mag valves. So now we're going to go over our gun in our patent pending grip to tip review. And starting with our grip, we've got our lovely Gen 5 stippling. I really like that. We've got a lanyard hole back here, and then our lovely little flared mag well, make reloading easier. We've got a little bit of an undercut on the trigger guard, again, standard to the Gen 5. We have an actually ambidextrous magazine release, well, flippable rather, and then we have our ambidextrous slide catch right up here, and then our Glock trigger. We have our little thumb groove over here for our left-handed folks, and then we flip it over, thumb groove for our right-handed folks, the magazine catch, and then, like I was saying, that ambidextrous slide release. We have our plastic Glock sights, our lovely little SIG Air optic. We've got our rear slide serrations, really like those. Come all the way up here to our front slide serrations. Again, really like that, and then our front chamfering. So that chamfering up front is so that it doesn't catch on like a holster when you go to reholster the gun. And then our lovely US orange tip that does come off for cleaning. The last thing I want to show you on the outside of the gun is the takedown levers. So to take this gun down, you want to go all the way back with the slide, pull down on the levers, and then all the way forward. So the reason I popped it open for you is I wanted to show you, this is a really interesting gun. So GHK is the guys who made it, and they made it actually hammerless. So there's a lot less failure points on this gun, which is kind of neat. So let me show you how to put your optic on this bad boy. So this right here will let you know what optic plate you might need. You do have to get these sort of separate from the gun. Unlike some of our other competitors that say it comes with it, this one does not. The full blowback does not. You have to get this separate. First, you need to remove this plate. You can use the included wrench with the gun. Now that we got the screws loosened, take that out and then pull the plate straight off. Now let me explain what you're seeing under that plate cover. So you have your nozzle right here actually, and then these various screw patterns let you put your different optics plates on there so that you can fit your optic on there properly. I do want to point out these have serrations here, and those serrations will line up with the rear serrations on the slide. That's how you know you've gotten the right orientation. And this is what it'll look like when it's fully on there. So as far as we know, there's no optic that goes directly onto this. You're gonna need one of the plates. It does fit RMR, Doctor, Seymour, like a bunch of different ones, but you have to have the plate. Now this is the Type 3 MOS. There's at least 3 different types, so you have to make sure you get the right plates. All right, so now we're going to install the optics plate. The one I'm using right now is the O1, that's for the Doctor sight. And then I'm also using the screws and Allen wrench that were included with the optics plate. All right, so I'm lining up the serrations to put that on, like I showed you earlier, and then the screws go into the 4 corners, basically. And we're gonna do a little speed up while I do this. So now we've got all 4 screws put in. For this video, we're using the SIG Air optic. The reason we're using this one is it fits on the Doctor sight footprint that comes with our plates. I do wanna take a moment to point out, this is the 4th optic we tried. We tried a couple other ones from like Bravo and ASG that we just could not get to fit. So be careful when you're buying it, make sure it fits the right optic footprint for the plate you want to use. Now I do want to reiterate, for your real steel firearms optics, your Trijicon RMRs, your real steel Doctors, things like that, it will fit on the plate no problem. For Airsoft branded ones, you have to be a little more careful about which ones you get. So I'm just finishing screwing in the last of the 2 screws to get the optic on the plate. Once we do this, gun will be good to go. We figured out that this optic is actually slightly too long, so you'll see a little bit of an air gap there. What this really points to is that Airsoft brands don't talk to each other very well to make sure that the thing's going to fit properly, which is why we had to go through 4 different optics to get this one to kind of work. So just we did this for you guys. We're helping you out. And I know what you're thinking. You're saying, why didn't we try this before? Well, we didn't have time, okay? And that's on us, but we still did this for you. For oiling, you want to use 100% silicone oil, just like any other airsoft gun. You want to hit the rails, and then kind of right back here, our sort of like striker unit, if you will. And then for the slide, you also want to hit kind of down in here in the nozzle area. It's a little hard to get to. You'll use your thumbnail, but just like that. The hop-up adjustment's a little different on this gun. I'm going to show you how to get into it. The manual also does a very good job, but I just want to show you on video real quick. So you'll need to remove the spring guide. It's under spring tension, so it's a little hard. It actually has a cute little pin here that it holds onto, so that's quite nice. And then this whole barrel assembly will come out. And then you actually have to remove the inner barrel. And then your hop-up adjustment is actually that fine little screw right there. So if you're fairly new to airsoft, maybe looking to use these for training for your real steel firearms, the reason you want to adjust the hop-up is adjust the flight path, makes the gun more accurate, more consistent. It isn't really something that you need to adjust all the time though. Real quick, just wanted to show you how to get the fill valve on this guy. So use like a little Allen wrench or something, push down, and then the base plate slides forward, and that's your fill valve. So the spare O-rings that come with the gun are actually for the internal parts of this valve. So if you were to remove it, they go inside. I do also want to point out that this is a kind of a lighter weight magazine. It's a little weird, but nice. Make sure you use GHK magazines for this. It is very important. This looks like a lot of the other Elite Force Glocks, but it is not. It's GHK. Use GHK mag. In our limited testing thus far, it does appear to be like decently gas efficient, but every time you put more BBs in, you want to put more gas in, make sure that you're gonna get through the whole magazine. Airsoft specs. Feet per second, you're at 300 to 325, which for you Joule nerds like me, makes it just under a Joule, roughly. No centered. This is a green gas gun, which does mean that you can move to red gas in the winter, which will give you a little bit better pressure and a little bit better velocity. This gun is also rated for CO2, so it's already good for that higher pressure. So you can get CO2 GHK magazines. This is a GHK mag. This is a GHK gun. If you have the other Umarex Glocks, the mags are different. You need to use the GHK Glock mag in the GHK Glock. This gun should be accurate to somewhere between about 60 and 80 feet, as long as you get that hop-up dialed in. And that's for our training folks. You might want to use this to transition with. Something I do want to remind everybody for, so especially for our real steel guys, this is a 1-2-1 Glock replica. If you take the orange tip off, like our cleaning one here, then this will fit in any Glock holster. It's got all the same external specs. You can also put whatever optic you want on there as long as you have the right plate. So Dr., RMR, etc. Just make sure you get the right plate. So it's really 1-to-1. Build your gun and then build your airsoft gun and train with it. All right, guys, so we're on to our final thoughts. I do really like this gun. I think it's great. It looks and feels very similar to my Glock Gen 5 17s and 19s. I really like it. I really like that it fits in the same holsters. I really like that it has kind of all the same stuff. If you might have noticed, when I took it apart internally, it's got that double captive recoil spring, the same as a real Gen 5 Glock 17. So they got some real good attention to detail with this. GHK also makes the like $400 training Glock. This is sort of a little bit cheaper version, but I really like it. I think this is good value for money, especially if you do want to put an optic on your training pistol. And then once again, I do want to reiterate, for our real steel training guys, this is 1-to-1. It fits in all the same holsters, fits in everything. You can put a light on this, you can put whatever you want on this, and it'll work just fine. My only complaint is the trigger is kind of Glock-esque. It has like no take-up, or it has a lot of take-up rather, and then it hits a wall and it's unpleasant. But other than that, it's really good. I do also want to reiterate that you do need to make sure you get the proper mags for this gun. And then one other issue, like I said before, we did go through 4 optics to get this one on here. So just be careful, make sure that you're buying the right optic and the right plates for your gun.
Don't be a fool!